Hi Happy Crafters, how are you? Welcome to my live studio. My name's Toni. I am a create and craft demonstrator, also a guest presenter on there also. For those of you that don't know me, I am a colorist stroke watercolor artist, and I love to learn new things and be creative with anything I've got in my hand. So if you're watching today, please let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching on YouTube, please let us know where you are watching from. If you are enjoying the live stream, please give us the thumbs up. And if you're watching on Facebook, please ensure you share it with all your friends so they can get to see something creative and maybe encourage them to pick up a paintbrush or a pen or a pencil and do something amazing themselves. So, a couple of things to tell you about. Did you get your members gift on Create and Craft? I hope so. It was a stamp set to the value of approximately £18 for the value of £2.99 postage and packaging. So if you are watching and you haven't yet ordered it, please go and check it out. It's a superb gift. It's one of our, I would say it's one of our best. It's got some beautiful sentiments in there. It's got a beautiful floral border, and I just know that if you've never tried Stamps by Me before or even tried me, then maybe it's a great way to start just for the cost of postage. If you do go over to Create and Craft, the product number that you just need to pop into the search engine to find that Create and Craft gift member is 453837. So it's just a heads up because sometimes it's a little bit difficult to find. So on today's live stream, I'm going to demonstrate how to do a little bit of black magic stamping. Now, I can't take credit for this technique. It's just a technique that I found over the internet, and it seems lots of people are doing it at the moment, and it seems to be quite amazing, and I was blown away when I saw it. So I've had a play myself and I've thoroughly enjoyed the afternoon playing, so I'm going to show you the technique that I've learned over the course of the last couple of hours, and then maybe you might do the same at home. So a couple of stamps that this sort of technique works with is silhouette stamps. So I'm going to show you some silhouette stamps that we have available, but please don't think you have to buy our stamps. If you have got silhouette stamps in your stash at home, they will work as well, okay? So you don't have to buy what I'm using. If you just come to watch for the inspiration, then that's amazing as well. I'm happy you're here. So the stamp sets that I've got with me today, the one that I'm going to be using today is this large one. And this has got some large floral silhouette roses, some leaves, and a massive happy birthday along here. So this is the one that I'm going to be using in my demonstration. And some other ones this technique will work with. I have the wreath, the watercolour wreath, because it's got solid portions in there, so the leaves and the outline. I have the infamous Stamps by Me butterfly. So this one's a great one to start if you are wanting to try this technique. This is a fab one. And then we have our lovely silhouette stamps. So you've got your trees and some like silhouette foliage. So the technique and the card that I'm going to make this afternoon, you'll be able to use all of these stamps. But please check out what you've already got in your stash at home, because I'm sure you'll have something there already that you'll be able to do this technique with. And it's a great technique and it gives a lovely looking result. So let's crack on. So I'll just move them to one side. So I'm just going to, before I start, I've had a couple of people ask on our Eureka fan page, do I need a Eureka to do my stamping? No, you don't. Okay, I'm not going to stand here and say yes, 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 because I want you to buy it, because you don't. If you have your traditional acrylic block, they work as well, okay? So you don't have to have everything that everybody else has got. In your stash at home, you probably will have acrylic blocks, the basic ink pads, basic embossing powder and things like that. That's all you need. You know, you can create some great looking cards probably with already what you've got in your stash. So I'm going to strip it all back today, and I'm going to show you that the card made today is going to be made with just using acrylic blocks, some pens and some embossing powder. So I have got my acrylic block, and I am going to use the large rose on this stamp set. Before I use this large rose, I'm just going to show you two ways you can do this technique. So it's up to you at home which technique you want to try. So I'm just going to remove the rose, one of the rose heads from here. So I'm just going to pick it with my acrylic block. So for this black magic technique, you will need a white ink pad. Now I have a white ink pad, but you know, if you've got one in your stash at home, that is amazing. So I'm going to use a white ink pad, and I'm also going to use some embossing powders. So as you can see here, I have two embossing powders. I have a clear and a creamy white. They both work amazing, but I'm going to show you the two different results you get from using either or, okay? So let's go ahead. So I'm going to ink this stamp up in white first of all over. And I'm going to stamp this, I'll just stamp it at the centre here. So make sure you've got an even surface when you stamp these things, so you get a lovely little white rose there. So I've got some clear embossing powder, and I'm just going to put this over the top of this image. And then I'm just going to shake it away. Onto here, so I get a lovely coverage there. You can see that there, it's absolutely beautiful. I'll just clear away this clear embossing powder, and then I'm going to stamp it out again. I'll just clean that surface, just get some tissue, just clear this area because I'm going to do it again, but this time I'm going to cover it with a creamy white embossing powder. So same image, white ink pad, stamped again, and this time we're going to put on the creamy colour one. Now for those of you that have managed to get our box projects, I'm using the scented vanilla embossing powder, and I'm using the glossy clear, so you will have had these in your limited edition boxes. So, but like I said earlier, you don't have to have what I'm using, you've probably got some in your stash already. So there you can see you've got one in the clear and one in the creamy white. So I'm just going to colour these off and show you the two different looks you get. I'll just try and keep a clear station so I know what I'm using, because I am going to make a card once I've just shown you the basics. So I'm just going to tap away the excess. I'm just going to get my heat gun. I'm going to get my heat gun good and hot so it doesn't warp the card so much. And I just so remembering that the top one is the clear one with the white ink underneath, and the bottom one is the one with the cream. So as soon as the powder starts to change, move your gun. There we go. So you can see from there, just get my station clear, we have like a ghost image, but it's not quite clear because we've put the white powder underneath, and then we've got this one with the creamy white powder on there. So I'm just going to give it a clean off again with some tissue. There we go. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to make this pop from the page. So to create the technique that I want to show you, I have some alcohol markers. So I've got varying colours. For this technique you do need alcohol markers for it to work. Okay, I have got a water-based pen as well. I'm going to show you that it won't work with a water-based pen. I'm going to show you why. So if you try at home and it doesn't work, it might be because you're using the wrong type of pen. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some colour on here. So what happens is, because it's alcohol based, it will dye your embossing powder, which is amazing because you can get a great looking look. So here I'm just going to colour this petal here. I'm just going to colour from the inside as if there was a shadow out on top of the embossing powder. Now you could colour it all if you wanted to, but it would obviously spoil the heat emboss side of things, and this is why it's called Black Magic stamping. So I'm just going to come from the centre here and do some light flicks out. So the ink pad that I'm using works perfectly with your embossing powders. So I'm just flicking from the centre out. And just to create some light and shade, really. Just spin this around. Can you see that coming together there already? So I'm just going to flick this one up from the bottom. And what will happen is the alcohol will just absorb into your embossing powder, and you'll get a beautiful looking flower. So if you wanted to be really creative with it, you could go for it, use 2 tones, but I'm just quickly showing you how you can get a great looking look. So that's just that one onto the white one. So let's just move this down, and what happens, so this was the white with the clear on top. So this gives like a little bit of a ghost appearance, which is beautiful for sympathy cards, but the colour does still sit on top. Can you see that there? So it's not as prominent, but the colour still sits on top. So you get this lovely like withdrawn colour on there. Can you just see that? Yeah, makes a beautiful looking, like I just said, I know we don't like doing them sympathy cards because it's like a ghost footprint on there. It's not actually as bright as this one. So, you know, it's down to preference and choice really. But, you know, you could use a whole host of colours and make a really bright card, and that's what I'm going to do next. So you can see there that the alcohol has absorbed into the embossing powder. What happens if you use a water-based one? Well, if you put a water-based one on, it just sits on top, it just pools. It doesn't actually absorb into the embossing. And what will happen is you'll put it on and you will be able to wipe it away. Just use some of this blue roll. It just wipes off. So, you know, always use an alcohol marker. So it does work with most embossing powders. Now, just probably stay away from maybe your glittery ones because they'll be quite chunky and you might ruin the nib of your pen. So maybe go for the super smooth ones, i.e. your silvers you probably could try. These are the only 2 that I've tried, but you know, it's down to yourself and your creativity at home. Try it with many and see what look you get. But I just love this look that you got onto a white card. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and make the card. So from that lovely stamp set that we used, in there you get you get 1, 2, 3 floral heads and then some like a cluster of leaves, and you obviously get this happy birthday, which is absolutely huge. Now we're just going to light the set a little bit because it's gone a little bit dark. Won't be a second. So there we go. So just move this to one side. Right, okay. So we're just trying to adjust it a little bit so it's a little bit brighter. But while we're doing that, I am going to crack on with the card. I'm not going to let it stop us. So I have a white ink pad again. Now, shall we go for the clear? Shall we go for the white? Now, when you do these things, you'll quickly realise that if you use a white, you don't get all the flecks. You know, if you're using a white embossing, sometimes you end up with the spots everywhere. But we're just going to go for it, and I think I'm going to go for the clear. I really like the clear one. So I've got my white ink pad, and I'm going to get the cluster. I'm going to swap these out. So I'm going to create a bit of a background, shall we? So we've made it a little bit brighter, that's perfect, thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a bit of a floral bouquet. So these come in parts. Yeah, we will. We'll do like a border. We'll just go for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp one and then I will add the embossing ink before this dries, or else the embossing powder will not adhere. So I'm just going to add the ink immediately onto here. Sorry, I keep saying ink, embossing powder onto here. Like so. And then I will just put that to one side and we'll go for another one. So I'll go for the same stamp and we will stamp it out somewhere else because I'm going to create a bit of a bouquet. So I always would say stamp one, put your embossing powder on, move on to the next one. So once it's stuck, it's not going anywhere. So I've got two there. So we could go, let's go for the closed. There is a closed one in here as well, which looks absolutely awesome. So we'll go for this one as well. Just take this one off here. And then we will ink this one up. So this is more of a closed one, which is really lovely. So you could create some lovely backgrounds with this one if you wanted to. So we can see we've got like a bit of a floral arrangement going on, which is cool. I have absolutely loved this technique today. So whoever came up with the ideas, it's absolutely fantastic. So in the kit, also within this stamp set as well, you also get like the cluster of leaves. So you could also add in the leaves, and we will do because I want you to see how amazing this set is. Excuse my head. Embossing powder on again. So it's coming together already, as you can see. The great thing about this one is though, if you don't want to do the cluster of three, you have the beautiful individuals as well. So I have, and you've got the two individuals in here as well, that one that goes left and one that goes right, because obviously leaves don't all go the same way. So you can pop these in as you see fit, really. So there's no limit to the size of your bouquet, you can just go for it. So I'm just going to finish this one off page so it doesn't look too sterile. And then I'm just going to pop another one out the top there. There we go. And we'll just pop our embossing powder back on. Make sure it's all covered, and then we'll go ahead and heat this one up. And what happens then, it'll heat set the embossing powder. So just get rid of all the excess. There we go, can you see that, how beautiful that is? So a lovely little cluster in there. And then really it's just down to yourself to bring it to life. So if you wanted to use monochrome colours to make it look monochromatic, that would look also amazing. But I just want to show you the technique so you can do as you please with it at home. Like I always say, you're not governed by anything that anybody else does. You can put your own spin on it, your own take on it. It's entirely up to you. So I'm just going to get my gun hot. See there how beautiful that is. So just get my gun really, really hot, and then as soon as my gun's hot enough and the powder starts to change, I'll move. Now you can heat from the top, from the bottom, heat from wherever you like. So this gives the lovely ghost appearance that I was talking about, which I absolutely love. So just while it cools down, I'm just going to hold it down so it sets a little bit flatter than it would if I just left it in a hump. So just move that out of the way. Just gonna, it's cool now. Just gonna pop it under there and give it a rub. Clear my station for the exciting part, which is obviously my favourite part, the colouring. So here we have, so let's get some beautiful colours. So before I did the red, so we'll go red. What colour should we go? Orange. We'll do a pink and orange and maybe a green. We'll do it in a multicolour. We'll do it multicoloured so you can see how amazing it looks in different varying colours, and we'll do them different. So I'm just going to pick up the orange and see. Always try it on your scratch first. It's, you know, it's no great shakes, and then pop it on and see how you get on with it. If it doesn't show up, like I'm putting that on there, it's all right, it's actually showing up. Can we see that? There you go, you can see there the orange. So I'm just going to go a little bit darker. So because I am using alcohol markers, don't forget you can use your blending and get your blending and your light and shade in there. You can do whatever you like. It's entirely up to you. Now, I am going to complete this card really, really quickly. Don't forget what I said. If you are tuning in for the first time, I'll just let you know that every card that I make on my channel or on in my live studio, I post onto my Facebook page and I choose a winner. And I did this last week. A lovely lady, I think called Carol, won last week, and I've sent the card out to the lady, so hopefully she'll have those soon. So every card that I make in the live studio, I'm happy to post out to one lucky winner. All you have to do is post a comment on if you enjoyed the video, what you would like to see maybe next time, you know, because I am just human at the end of the day. I don't have endless ideas. I'm, as is you guys probably are at home, sometimes feeling the pain of how to be creative. It's not always easy. So if there is anything that you'd like to learn, anything you would like to know, if I don't know it, I will try and find it out for you. There are some fabulous crafters out there who will probably be able to help and, you know, help and inspire. This is, like I said earlier, this inspiration is not my own, but it does truly give an amazing looking card, you know. And I do love techniques. I love learning and I love being inspired, and, you know, of late I am getting some lovely inspiration. Can I just zoom in on this just to show you something on the leaves? Just see if I can get this one to pop off the leaves. Now just get a darker green. So I hope the camera's picking this up for you. I think it is, but it's absolutely gorgeous. The key to this is don't colour the whole image. Leave the ends clear, white, whatever you have. Perfect, thank you. Whatever you've done as the embossing, it is best to leave white. Remember what I always say, white spaces are key. So go in, but don't take your ink right to the very end. Just go in and add the detail. Let the white be the shadow. So, yep, I'm happy with that. what I'm going to do is just get another colour and see if we can get another colour to pop. Let's see if this one will. So we've got, yeah, that's showing. So what we've got here is 3 different coloured roses, and I'm just basically dropping a little bit of colour in, but not colouring the whole area. So if you have a butterflies, as I showed you before, the silhouette, don't colour the whole of the white areas, leave some white spaces, and it does really look like you've left the light and shade in there. I hope you can see that. So just because I did start with this one here, the yellow, I think it was this one, wasn't it? I am just going to complete that because it's standing out like a sore thumb to me. I'm just going to add some into it all. Still leaving white spaces, I just want to tie it in quickly. There we go. So there you can see, look, how amazing is that? Thank you to the lovely lady that did this on Facebook. I can't think for the life of me what your name is, but thank you, and I'm sure you've inspired many other crafters, including myself. So in that set also you get To a Much Loved Friend. If anyone deserves all the happiness in the world, it's you. So let's get a sentiment on here. And I'm going to do this in the white embossing so it pops from the page. So I'll just get rid of that leaf. I'll just clear my block. I'm just going to pick up this sentiment so I can see. So I'm going to stamp it out in the white, and then I'm going to put some clear over, but because I'm doing that I am going to use my anti-static because I don't want the white flecks across my card. So the area where I'm going to put my sentiment, just across the bottom here, I'm just going to anti-static it. Now you're probably thinking, now you've ruined it. No, I haven't. It will dust off. So it's better to do this because it gives you a more professional looking card. So I'm going to use the white ink. I'm just going to ink up this sentiment. Now, because I don't think I've used this one, I am just going to practice on a bit of our scrap that we did earlier. Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with that one. So let's go ahead and do it on our card. So because I'm using acrylic block, I am going to try and take my time, and hopefully it will do it fine. Perfect. Then I'm just going to pop some of the cream embossing on this one, just so this stands out from my image itself. See that, how beautiful that is? So let's go ahead and heat emboss this one, make it stick. So again, I'll just get my gun hot. As soon as you put your gun on, it should change. And then a bit of tissue again, just to get rid of that awful anti-static mess from there. So what I would do is I would pop some white splatters around there with a white gel pen or some heat, some glitter or something, and then let's get this adhered onto the card. So I'm just using your traditional tape pen. I do like to use a lot of tape. I like my cards to stay put, and I know if a crafter's going to get this at home, I would like it to stay put for at least a while. So the plan is, ladies and gents, to do these live demonstrations every week at every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Now, sometimes it doesn't always happen, sometimes things don't go to plan, but that is our plan. So it would be nice if you could join us, you know, and I'm hoping that every time I'll bring you some lovely hints, tips and techniques, something new every time. So there we have a beautiful, can you see that there? Looks like a ghost image. Absolutely stunning. So I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration. I'm sorry it took quite a while, but I wanted to show you the two different techniques you can achieve, one with the cream and white embossing powder and one with the clear. Please, you know, have a play at home. It might work with golds and silvers. I know that Copic do absorb into your embossing powder, so please give it a try and see what effects you get. Don't forget to post on your Eureka fan page and let me know how you get on. I'm back on Create and Craft in a couple of weeks with something amazing, so I hope you can all join me. And I'll see you all again next week, Wednesday, hopefully, 4 p.m. Take care, everybody. Have a great evening, whatever you do.